Hey, what's going on, guys? We're back again with another video. Today, we'll be covering Arsenal's 5-goal win against Man City at home at the Emirates Stadium, a game in which I was really glad to be able to attend live and see Miles Lewis-Skelly score his first Premier League goal. Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri are the future of this club, meaning so in terms of Hale and Academy prospects. Holland's definitely going to remember his name for the rest of his Premier League career, if he has one left, that is. Of course, everywhere, everyone's been saying, stay humble, Holland. And Alfie Holland looked like he had a lot to say on social media with Arsenal fans chanting, stay humble, UCNT, all throughout the stadium. And we made Man City look like a third string team in the Turkish league or in the championship. No disrespect to the championship or the Turkish league, but we made Man City. We found all their mistakes and we brought it to life. And yesterday was the epitome of Arsenal taking every chance they had in front of goal and not putting their foot off the gas. I think in the game yesterday, I do want to highlight that we had two kids both start for Arsenal, Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri, and it's the first time since the 1980s, I believe, that the kids have scored both in the goals in the same game. So, big up to Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly. It's the second time now that Pep Guardiola has conceded 5 goals in his managerial career, because the first time was against Leicester City in the Premier League, where Pep Guardiola lost 5 goals, gave up 5 goals before in the 2020-21 Premier League season. Pep Guardiola's Man City lost 2 goals to 5 to Leicester City with a Jamie Vardy hat trick, goals by Madison and Yuri Tillemans at the time, who played for Leicester City. With that being said, I know Holland got on the score sheet, which we shouldn't have allowed. But other than that, a mistake from Akanji gets Odegaard 1 minute and 40 seconds on the score sheet. And then we have Havertz, who could have had a second goal early on in the game. He made up for it late in the game, but Havertz was so close to scoring a second goal, and he hits it wide. This is not a transfer show. Unfortunately, I don't think Arsenal are going to be signing anyone. We've been nothing but monitoring FC, exploring FC, and I just don't see us doing viable business this January transfer window. With that being said, I think all hopes now fall into the summer window on whether we will be getting Isaac or any other replacements for the likes of Jorginho, who has signed or will be likely to sign a pre-contract with Fluminense, the Brazilian team. As early as today, we could hear news of a pre-contract for Jorginho. This stream I wanted to cover was more so about the match review for the Arsenal game. I wasn't able to do it yesterday as I was at the game, and traveling back home today, it would be difficult for me to do a stream on an airplane. Hope everyone's well. I'm really sorry for the music in the background. I'm at a cafe and in a shopping center. I just got back this morning, not long ago. Hi, Gunnar Matters. Hope you're well. Great performance. Yeah, we were really good. Hi, Mel. Any signings? Nope. I don't think Arsenal will make any signings this January window. And the sooner you come to terms with that, the less disappointed you will be. Because it doesn't look like Arsenal are bringing anyone through this window. With that being said, I do think that Tierney has already signed a pre-contract with Celtic, and we would hear official news of that soon. We're also still waiting for updates of Miles Lewis-Skelly and Ethan Nwaneri signing new contracts extensions. Fabrizio Romano released today. I think yesterday after the game, he posted that Fabrizio Romano and Ethan Nwaneri are soon going to put pen to paper, and those are our two Hale End boys that we need to tie down to new contract extensions. We've also heard that Maldini Kakuri is going on loan to, I think it's Bromley, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully the loan deal um, goes good for us. And David Ornstein officially just now has said, someone asked him if Arsenal will be doing any transfer business, and David Ornstein's exact words were, "Not to my knowledge." So for me, that means Arsenal are making zero signings this January window. Ray, big up to you, my friend. Nice to see you. Hope you and the boys are well. Always hopefully we can catch up. It's been a long time. I know it's a disappointing window for us because assuming that Kai Havertz was to get injured, and I'm not wishing injuries on anyone, then that means that Trossard would have to play up front, and God forbid Trossard and Havertz get injured. Then the final option is Butler Oyedeji, who looks like he could be making his way out of the club on a permanent deal away from Arsenal. With that being said, I guess the other worrying thing is Havertz now has to play every single game in the Champions League as it's the knockout stages. And we're still waiting to know which one of Juventus or Feyenoord we could possibly get, even PSV Eindhoven. In Holland, it will be nice to go to a away trip, but at the moment, Arsenal do not look like bringing any reinforcements in. Mind you, we are now talking about the game yesterday, and I do want to say yesterday's performance was the best atmosphere I've seen at the Emirates by far to date this season. Whether it be Liverpool at home, a game in which I went to with my friend Luca, who's in the chat, or whether it be Tottenham at home just not long ago. I went to that game. The atmosphere yesterday, fans were up for it from minute one. And I think the players were also definitely up for it. This was a game where we really needed to put Haaland in his place. Gabriel Magalhaes told Haaland before, we'll deal with you at our ground. We'll see what your game's like at our ground. And where's that Phil Foden 007? He was nowhere to be seen on the pitch yesterday. He had a stinker, biblical stinker, and he was hooked yesterday, Phil Foden. So I think we're going to unpack the game, and more importantly, Phil Foden, 0 goals, 0 assists, 0 shots, 0 shots on target, 0 chances created, 0 successful take-ons, 0 touches in the opposition box, 0 accurate crosses, 0 tackles won, and more importantly, all he did was cardio at the Emirates because he was hooked off the pitch for a biblical stinker, and they have the audacity to say Foden is better than Saka. I'm so happy that Saka was in the crowd yesterday, soaking in this amazing performance from the Gunners. And I don't think we were necessarily the greatest we could have been. We could have definitely scored more than 7 or 8. I feel like if we really went for it. And definitely my man of the match has to be Lewis Skelly. This kid has the arrogance of Bukayo Saka on the pitch, and he showed it yesterday. He nicked Haaland's celebration, and he stole his chain, and he ran off with it. And he told Haaland, "You're gonna remember me now." Because in the reverse fixture, Haaland said, "Who's Miles Lewis Skelly? Who are you?" Very disrespectful to a 17-year-old kid. But for that 17-year-old to dunk on your head top, Haaland, you better stay humble for the rest of the season. Hi, Rosie. Thank you for joining. Ray would be nice to catch up sometime. I'll text you after this stream. Thank you so much, Rosie. Really appreciate it. Hi, Jordan. Just like you, us, Liverpool are not looking like signing anyone in January. And I did see that AC Milan have got Joao Felix from Chelsea on loan. A move for Disasi has fell apart going to Aston Villa. And Villa look like they're pulling off a lot of signings this window after getting Daniel Malen. And unfortunately, it looks like our boy Ollie Watkins is going to be staying put at Villa. I don't think they were willing to lose John Durant and Watkins this window, and I think it's far too late for Arsenal to make any second bid. I don't even think they're going to send a second bid, if I'm being honest. I also want to say the goal yesterday that Miles Lewis Skelly scored, not only is it his first Premier League goal for the Arsenal in the men's team, but I do want to say the atmosphere in the crowd yesterday really reminded me of Arshavin's late winning goal against Barcelona at the Emirates, where we won 2 goals to 1. The atmosphere yesterday was really, really electric, and I said on Twitter it was bouncing like Astrid Wet on Nicholas Jackson. And I know that's a very inappropriate reference to come from someone like me, but it just had to be said because we handled City from minute one in the game, and we didn't let our foot go off the gas. I thought at 1-0, we're going to let our foot off the gas because that's so typical of Arsenal. But I'm quite glad that we didn't do that. Yesterday, we gave them a thumping that they needed, and we showed them that we can really do it if the squad shows they're determined. I think yesterday, the second half was the best second half I've seen from Arsenal all season. Usually, we're on the back end of it in the second half, where we're trying to make up for something where we miss chances. We're always on the back end rather than on the forefront. And yesterday we were on the forefront throughout the game. This was an all-time performance from Thomas Partey, from Declan Rice. I don't care how many people talk about the price tag we paid for Declan Rice, but Declan Rice was everywhere he needed to be at the right time and right moments. The crosses we made, the chances we made in this game, taking our chances, being clinical in front of goal. We looked like a whole different Arsenal. We looked like Arsenal after coming back from Dubai last season. That's the Arsenal that we look like. And Arsenal fans even chanted, "Are you Tottenham in disguise?" Or they were even singing "Who put the ball in the back of the net" against big bad boy Man City oil money. That's what Man City looked like before the oil money, and that's exactly what we kept calm. I know Arteta wasn't happy with the celebrations of Gabriel Magalhaes celebrating in front of Holland's face, and he wasn't happy with Miles Lewis-Skelly nicking Holland's celebration. You can tell Arteta wasn't happy about it. His perspective is focus on the game, lads. Stay focused, stay determined, and then go on to the next game, which is Wednesday midweek. EFL Cup second leg. Can Arsenal turn it around to Newcastle away at St James Park? We would have to score three to win, two to take it to penalties. But Arsenal having to fail to score at home against Newcastle in the EFL Cup first leg without Bruno Guimaraes and without Fabian Schär. Can Arsenal turn it around? Are they determined to do so? Um, I can't believe we scored a fiver against Man City, though. Yesterday, it was really hard to believe our performance. I also think that we dominated in terms of taking advantage of their flaws. The mistake from Akanji, mistake from Foden, you could say, and from I think one of their best players, I would say, you could say, was Kovacic for some instances of the game. But the battle was definitely won in the midfield with Partey, Rice, and Odegaard. Partey put in a general shift, and I quite enjoyed watching his goal. I was quite shocked to see a long range goal like that from Thomas Partey. The only negative thing I will say from this game is the we constantly got outdone on crosses to the back post, and this is something where Man City took advantage of us. And Newcastle away at St James Park. I think it was Newcastle. Sorry, Newcastle at home. Aston Villa away, the same thing happened. The crosses, failing the crosses at the back post, we conceded to Aston Villa. And then today versus Man City, yesterday versus Man City was the exact same thing. We're so poor in terms of defending crosses against the back post. That's something we need to be cautious of. And Thierry Henry has even mentioned it before that that's a flaw in Arsenal. We play too cautiously whenever we're 1-0 up. And yesterday I was nervous at the game, thinking that when Arsenal go 1-0 up, we're gonna take our foot off the gas. Yesterday, when it went 1-1, when it went 1-all and Holland equalized, I was worried. I was a bit nervous. I did predict a 2-1 win, and I knew that when I'm at the game, we don't lose. I'm not seeing Arsenal lose, so I was banking on that. But still, to that extent, I do want to say that we ramped up the efforts and we absolutely destroyed them. We took advantage of their weak midfield. We took advantage of their defensive mistakes, and that's the Arsenal that I know and that I wanted to see. Two assists and even a pre-assist for Declan Rice. I don't care about the price tag, but my man of the match has to be Miles Lewis-Skelly. Some people will argue man of the match should be Declan Rice. I think officially that Miles Lewis-Skelly got player of the match, and a lot of good performances today individually, but also collectively as a team. That's one thing to say. I think Trossard was quite underrated. Martinelli looked better today on wings. Trossard had a good performance, consistent throughout the game. And I think the substitutions were everything we expected. We knew the substitutions, what were going to happen because of how thin our squad is. We could predict exactly who was going to come off the bench for us. Hi, Donna. Donna, do you want to you change your name back to Donna Cullen, Donna? I did say hi to you earlier, but I did want to go through the game and talk about our performance. Now we have Newcastle away at St. James Park Wednesday, the second leg of the EFL Cup. It'll be interesting to see if Arsenal are still up for it and if we can turn it around. I know Newcastle really want a trophy. It's been many years since Newcastle have got a trophy, but this, I'm sorry, but Arsenal, we need to end the season with a trophy. It would be sad to go out cold without a trophy, especially now knowing that we're not signing anyone in this January transfer window. Um, the one thing I will say is I know we need to win that game to Newcastle at St. James Park. And if it's possible, I would rest Havertz. If anything happens to Havertz, then we have to play Trossard up front. And if both of them get injured and Butler or Yadeji sold, then we don't have a striker. And some people will say, okay, play Calafiori up front, but that's just banter, and no one would actually do that. Jordan saying we're playing Spurs at home this week. Yep. That's the second leg is at Anfield. Tottenham have to go to Anfield, but Tottenham got Tal from Bayern Munich on a dry loan. I don't understand why Tal went to Tottenham after he rejected Tottenham. Um, I didn't hide you. It was Moss who did it. I didn't ban you. It was Moss who did it, or one of the mods in Moss's channel, because we have our channels combined. Anyway, I'll deal with that later, but it wasn't me who did it. You know, I always address you whenever you're in my streams, and I don't have an issue with you being a parody account or whatever you want to be. I don't have a problem with it. Anyway, going back to the topic of discussion. In terms of the Arsenal lineup, it was big question marks around why Ethan Waneri was dropped, but it made sense. Of course, when he comes off the bench, he scored a goal just like a Saka type of finish. And to see both academy kids step up yesterday, step up against their opponent, but also Miles Lewis Kelly. Yesterday, this guy, Michael Oliver, really tried to prevent Miles Lewis Kelly, almost like he knew he was going to score against Man City, and Michael Oliver would have been one to stop it with if that red card was not overturned. Um, I think Michael Oliver, you know, I hope he doesn't referee another Arsenal game again. But yesterday really showed how much Arsenal were clinical in front of goal. We took our chances, and unsurprisingly, Miles Lewis Kelly and Ethan Waneri deserve all the praise they can. So, regardless of the lineup, it was all right with Ethan Waneri coming off the bench. Sterling also, I don't know. Sterling is definitely question marks around the loan signing or loan move. You could say. I don't think he really impacted the game at all. And then Calafiori came on. Um, Not really much to do from there. But I'm glad Havertz made up for the chance that he missed in the first half, which could have easily taken us 2 goals up early on in the game. Um, Also, I do want to say, like, yeah, people will say we played a weaker we played a weaker Man City team, but so be it. We had injuries as well. We had crucial injuries, and we barely have a bench. I think a lot of credit goes to Arteta with this team setting up against City. A lot of people thought, okay, we're not going to win it, or some people predicted a draw even. But to get 5 goals against Man City at home, that's the Arsenal that we know pre-Dubai trip from last season. So I just hope we continue in games where we're dominating and we don't take our foot on the gas. We stay determined and we stay focused on the game. You know, they always say don't lose focus, don't lose focus, or don't take your foot off the gas. And oftentimes you've seen Arsenal do that before. So I hope we turn it around at St. James Park if it's possible. Stay in that EFL Cup. I know it's just the EFL trophy, but it's better than going out the season with no trophy. And you know, this Arsenal team is good enough to win trophies. We've been second twice to Man City. Regardless of what happens with the Man City charges, that's indifferent. I don't want to talk about that. I'm just talking about the performance on the pitch yesterday, and what I saw on the pitch today was colossal defense from Gabriel Magalhaes, constantly bullying Haaland. It was so fun to watch. At one point in the game, Gabriel Magalhaes was saying, "Haaland, go collect my boot. It's on the floor on the pitch," and it was almost like Gabriel made Haaland his water boy. And I love that. I love how we got into his head. We rattled him, and we rattled those City fans. And I'd say they would be going back to Manchester, but I'd be lying because I think most of them are from London, who just changed teams for glory or whatever it may be, as soon as City got the oil money. But yesterday's performance was Man City before the oil money. I have thought Liverpool would win this season at the beginning. Arsenal are catching you up. Definitely, I think, you know, people will say the title race is a stretch without us having an out and out striker. But Man City won the title without a striker. It's not to say that it's impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I do think that it's definitely one to watch. There's still many games to be played left over in the season, so we'll see how Arsenal do one game at a time. And with that being said, the next game is Newcastle at home. Sorry, Newcastle away at St. James Park, correction. We've already lost to them at home. The next game would be the away leg in the EFL Cup, whether Arsenal can turn it around and still be in that final. against potentially Liverpool or Tottenham. Most likely to be Liverpool. I do think Liverpool will turn it around and batter Tottenham at Anfield. Regardless, man of the match performances. My man of the match yesterday has to be Miles Lewis Kelly. I mean, at 17 years old, this kid is not even 18 yet, but he has the arrogance like Saka on the pitch. He's not worried to take on his man. He's not worried to man mark players. He's not worried to take crosses. He's not worried in front of goal. He looked like a bully yesterday on the pitch, and that's exactly the attitude and mentality we need in this dressing room and on the pitch. He was a field general yesterday alongside Declan Rice. Declan Rice was everywhere he needed to be on that pitch, making clearances, blocks, crosses. He was really good yesterday, and it shows everything that that price tag we paid for Declan Rice means nothing because he's performing week in and week out on the pitch. And oftentimes I felt the underrated players who didn't really get a mention would be the likes of Martinelli and Leandro Trossard. With that being said, Ethan Nwaneri comes off the bench and gets a goal, and the stadium goes mad. Two Arsenal Academy Hale End kids are dunking on Manchester City. You couldn't make this up. It was really good to see. And more importantly, the stadium was all like the stadium was so electric and so loud. It was one of the best atmospheres I've ever witnessed at a live game so far. Topped off Tottenham 100% and definitely topped off Liverpool. Fans were up for it from minute one. And for me, the manager also gets a 9 out of 10. I don't think Arteta could have did anything wrong. I'm going to say 9 out of 10 because maybe Ethan Nwaneri could have started. I don't understand why Ethan was dropped. We could have scored more goals from this team. I know we scored 5, but it was quite possible that we could have scored 7 or 8. And that's just my minor criticism. Overall, the only negative thing I have to say from this game is we're getting beat at the back post on crosses. It happened against Aston Villa, it happened against Newcastle, and it also happened yesterday against Man City. It would have been nice to keep a clean sheet against Man City yesterday, but it is what it is. But to destroy them 5 goals to 1 after they've been running up their mouths on this, that, and the third, and also chatting shit about Arteta, Haaland telling Arteta to stay humble. We really, really gave Man City a humbling that they needed, and Arsenal rattled the whole footballing fan base with the celebration that the celebration of Haaland. For Miles Lewis Kelly to do that shows the arrogance he has in him, and I quite like that. That's my footballing favorite academy kid right now. And I think he's really doing well in terms of his development, and you can see he's ahead of some of the other players in the academy. I also mentioned that Maldini Kukuri will be out on loan. I think it's already been announced that he's going on loan. So I think it was Bromley that he's been loaned to. So it'll be interesting to see how he does on his loan spell from the academy. And I did mention that Felix is going to AC Milan on loan. Mika Beer scored a hat trick the other day on the weekend, which was interesting to see. Another Arsenal Academy prospect doing well. Other than that, I think yesterday's performance definitely sums up that if Arsenal really had a striker, we would have scored more goals, or if we were clinical ourselves, we could have scored 7 or 8. And there's nothing to say that that's not possible with us. And I guess the fans are definitely really happy with that performance. For me, that was the best game of the season so far. I really hope we can do that at Anfield or something similar like that. Get a result at Anfield, get 3 points. If Arsenal want to get 90 points, we would have to win all our games in the Prem except one game where we can draw. And if that's Anfield, then so be it. But Anfield away is the last game of the season, so it'll be a tough one. The contract for Jorginho, the pre-contract for Jorginho, I think it was Flamengo. I thought it was Fluminense, but I think Flamengo were looking at a pre-contract too for Jorginho, but Arsenal refused to let him go in this January window. That's why they couldn't get him early. It looks like it'll be a pre-contract move for the summer, so that's one to watch. Maybe in the next few hours. I know it's transfer deadline day, but other than that, I don't think Arsenal are signing anyone, so don't get your hopes up. With that being said, my 3 stars, if I had to pick 3 stars, would be Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, and Miles Lewis Skelly. Uh, Noteworthy shouts go for Trossard and Martinelli. I think Partey was really good, immense. Partey's best performance in an Arsenal kit yesterday. He was everywhere he needed to be, and um, I don't know if we'll give him a new contract. I don't. I think that's a bit of a stretch. Some people say maybe he's playing for a contract extension, but I think he's going to be going to Saudi in the summer, most probably, if that's the case. Other than that, 4 p.m. So I think 4 p.m. Eastern time, which is 9 p.m. UK time. I'll be live on the Gunnar Dan channel. We'll be talking about the transfer window, and I think more so we'll be venting about how Arsenal haven't made any signings appropriate for our attack. We know our attack is 1 injury or 2 injuries away from demolition. Um, and it's quite worrying. Havertz is going to have to play every single Champions League game because we're in the knockouts without a rest. So, and if anything happens to Havertz, God forbid, Trossard is the alternative. But if he gets injured, we don't have a backup striker, and we would have to play without a striker. So, it's quite upsetting that I guess Arsenal spent all this time in the January window exploring, monitoring, um, what's the other words they use? Exploring options, monitoring, unless there is a market opportunity, all sorts of nonsense. So I think we have to come to terms with the fact that we're not signing anyone this January window today. That's concluding, coming to an end at 11 o'clock or midnight today. And more so in the summer, it means we're spending big because a lot of players are out of contract. Tierney will be leaving, Jorginho will be leaving, Partey might be leaving. Kieran Tierney is a free agent. Reece Nelson's coming back from loan, likely to be sold. Fabio Vieira's on loan, likely to be sold. Marquinhos. We also have Nuno Tavares, who's still on loan. A lot of these loan players are not good enough for the Arsenal, and that's just how it is. There was also news today about former gunner Rob Holding being linked to a move to Sunderland. I hope it works out for him because he was exiled or more like an outcast in the Crystal Palace team after falling out with Glasner. So I hope he can get back to football, but I guess he's really past it. He's just collecting a wage now. And Adingra is also wanted, Brighton midfielder that we looked at previously in the summer, I guess. Adingra from Brighton is also wanted by Sunderland, so that's interesting. Other than that, I don't have Arsenal news to give you. I don't have any clickbait titles or fake news on Watkins' second bid. Unfortunately, I don't think Arsenal will even be sending a second bid for Ollie Watkins. And it's quite a shame because I think Villa have made it clear that they don't want to lose John Duran and Watkins in the same window. Also, Watkins is Champions League tied. He has something to play for still at Villa. And it would be useless when he can't play the Champions League, which is what we would need another striker for. In case Havertz was to get injured or to even give Havertz a rest. Aston Villa have made their stance clear that they're not getting rid of both players. So I think the ship has sailed. And unfortunately, our boyhood gunner won't be making it to the Arsenal this window. And I think the window will shut with Arsenal not recalling anyone from loan, the likes of Reece Nelson or Fabio Vieira. I do think that they're not going to disrupt their loan spells. Reece Nelson, who's just come back from injury, a hamstring-related injury to Fulham. I hope he'll be back on the pitch, and hopefully he does well for Fulham with the remainder of the season left to go. And then Fabio Vieira on loan, I don't think we're going to disrupt his loan either. So that's just my take on the transfer window and the game overall. Congratulations to Miles Lewis Skelly on his first Premier League goal. Really, really proud of our academy and the academy kids. Long may this continue because these two are the future of Arsenal and future Gunners. I hope we don't lose them, and I hope we tie them down to new contract extensions. There's rumors that Butler Oyedeji could be leaving on a permanent deal, and I don't think he's cut out for the Arsenal. Not everyone from the academy is going to make it into the first team or make it through on the pecking order, just like Aiden Heaven, who left to Man United because he thought there could be more opportunities for him to get into the first team rather than at Arsenal. And also for Aiden having Manchester United offered 15,000, I believe, for wages, which is a lot of money, a lot more than what Arsenal offered him. Um, so of course, if the money is plenty, then it's going to be tempting for these academy kids for their heads to turn. There's Wednesday is the EFL second round, so best of luck to the Arsenal. It will be interesting to see what squad we play. We don't even have a B squad. Unfortunately, we can't really rest or rotate players um, because this is do or die in the Carabao Cup. I know it's just Carabao Cup, like I said earlier, but it'll be really upsetting for Arsenal to go out the season without a trophy. So as bad as Newcastle need this trophy, I really hope that the Arsenal will be up for it and turn it around. 2 goals to take it to penalty, 3 goals to win on aggregate. And it's at St. James Park, so it is really tough. Arsenal don't tend to do well at St. James Park. And they will have Bruno Guimaraes and Fabian Schär available for the second leg on Wednesday night. Those of you traveling to the game, enjoy the game Wednesday night. Really sorry for the Arsenal fans who were hoping for Vlahovic, who were hoping for Watkins, who were hoping for Gyökeres or Sesko, or all these other names like Cunha or Nico Williams release clause. Unfortunately, it's not happening, and you just need to come to terms with reality. The sooner you accept that Arsenal are not signing anyone by the deadline today, the better it is for you and your mental health. Enjoy the football. Arsenal played champagne football against Man City yesterday. It felt like champagne football, at least. I really, really enjoyed it. And we'll look forward to the summer window when it comes. I'm sure there'll be a lot more movement. Hi, Ryan. Hi, Ryan. Hope you're well. You got me blushing, Ryan. Thanks for joining, Ryan. Go back to work. You should be at work by now. I don't know what you're doing on YouTube. Thanks for joining, Ryan. You got me all flustered. Um, I'm just wrapping up the stream now, actually. I didn't even do the intro, so as you can see, I'm not as prepared as I would be if I was at home. But I wanted to cover this, and I wanted to talk about. I know it's really, really disappointing that Arsenal didn't do business, but if you're looking deeper, a lot of other Premier League teams didn't do business either. I know Liverpool are probably in better hands than us because their backup they have backup options, and Arsenal don't have that. Um, I hope we can figure this out for the rest of the season. More importantly, we have a lot more games to be played, and our focus should be on Wednesday, Newcastle in the second leg of the EFL Cup. Come on, you Gunners, let's get this win. Hopefully, we can turn it around at St. James Park. I know it's unlikely, but I'll never rule out the possibility of turning this around. It'll be difficult. Hopefully the team's up for it and we just give it a performance worth our while. So also very proud of Ethan Waneri and Miles Lewis Kelly. Partey, definitely a performance to remember for him in an Arsenal kit for Partey, Rice, and Miles Lewis Kelly and Odegaard. It was a really good performance. Odegaard looked like the player he was before the injury, and I'm so glad that we played the midfield of Partey, Rice, Odegaard, our stronger midfield, and that Moreno came off the bench. I don't think Moreno is a starting player. I think he's a squad player, and even if we were to sign Zubimendi, I still stand by the same viewpoint that he would be a squad rotated player. But our best midfield would be Partey, Rice, Odegaard until otherwise in the summer window if Partey is leaving Arsenal. More to be said in the summer window, of course, when that opens. Thanks everyone for joining. Rosie, big up to you. Thanks so much for all your work moderating. And 9 p.m. UK time, which is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'll be live on the Gooner channel. We'll be discussing, more like we'll be venting, I guess, about Arsenal failing to do business in the January transfer window and spent the whole 31 days of January mimicking Dora the Explorer with X, Y, and Z players, exploring FC, monitoring FC, and ultimately not signing anyone FC. It's not the first time that Arsenal have gone a January window without signing anyone, and I'm sure it's not going to be the last time. With that being said, folks, have a good rest of your Monday. It is officially transfer deadline day. I think over 8 hours ago now. My math's not good, so don't quote me on it, but it's officially transfer deadline day. Good luck to all the teams still in the Carabao Cup. Can't say the same for Chelsea. So always a pleasure to take a dig in there for Ryan's team. Thanks for joining, everybody. We'll be doing a deadline day stream on the Gooner channel. Will be interesting to see his views and all other Gooners on there. Very laid back approach. So one of my favorite Arsenal channels to go into. Um, and he'll be live again tomorrow in the Adams Arms. Um, with that being said, folks, have a wonderful rest of your afternoon or evening. I'll see you all later today. I'm gonna cue the outro. I didn't even bother to do an intro. I just wanted to get straight to the game review and talk about my thoughts on the performance. Seeing a brilliant performance like that live made me really happy, but also made me remember a friend of mine who passed away from liver disease. He was a big Arsenal fan and a huge Gooner. And for if he was still alive, or if heaven exists, I really hope that he was able to see or find out that Arsenal thrashed this Man City team 5 goals to 1. And before I leave, I want to say, Rodri, talk about mentality now, because that Man City team had no mentality whatsoever, and Arsenal showed that we're capable of bringing our guns to a fight on the pitch. And that's exactly what some of our players did. A colossal units in defense with Gabriel and Saliba. Underrated performance from Gabriel from Gabriel Martinelli and Leandro Trossard, and a stellar performance, an all-timer from Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Ethan Waneri, and Mazu Skelly's first Premier League goal against big bad oil money Man City. The same team that Chelsea got spanked by is the same team Arsenal destroyed 5 goals to 1. Take care, everyone. Have a great rest of your day. And no, I'm not using Chelsea as a measuring stick or a beating stick. But I just gotta say the facts. Um, Thanks everyone for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you all later this evening slash afternoon, early evening in Canada. Back home now, so come on, you Gunners. And Wednesday we'll be watching the second leg of the Carabao Cup from home. Take care, everyone. Thanks, Lee, for joining. Thanks, Rosie, Luca, Jordan, Ryan from work. Big up to you. Donna, do you wanna? Thanks to everyone who's tuned in and who was tuned in on Twitter. Respects to everyone who shared the stream out. I'm on the road to 10,000 subs, which is incredible to say. I also want to say Graham does a tactical show on AFTV. Every Mondays it's uploaded. That show's finally back in action, and I'm quite glad because Graham and James do a very good unraveling of the games, in-depth tactical analysis. Really good to watch, so check out that on AFTV. I quite like that show, the tactical breakdown show. They do a really good job of it, and I'm just about to watch today's episode. So come on, you Gunners! Really massive performance to be proud of, and let's take each game as it comes. Take care, everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon or evening. Bye, everyone. Hope you have a great rest of your evening or afternoon, wherever you are. We'll be live later this evening on Gooner channel. Hope everyone doing transfer news shows enjoy your stream. Unfortunately, Arsenal won't be signing anyone by the looks of things and by the sounds of things. So the sooner you come to terms with that, the better it is. And we'll just move on, one game at a time. We'll see how it goes. But I'm quite confident that the league isn't set in stone. I know some people think the league is set in stone and that Liverpool are going to run away with the league, but I do think there's some twists and turns, and I do definitely know that Arsenal are catching up, and I'm not going to rule out the possibility of us being able to take them on toe to toe at Anfield. It'll be nice to win at Anfield. The last time we won there was in COVID. Hopefully we can win at Anfield the last game of the season. I'd love to go there. I've never been to Anfield, and I always hear from people who go there it's the most daunting stadium to be in and to play in. Liverpool fans have the best chance, but the one thing that differs them from us is they need something to get going. And yesterday, Arsenal fans were up for chanting and cheering from minute one, and so were the players. And we need to see more of that. With that being said, folks, if you haven't already, please check out my other videos. Somewhere here or here, you'll see my previous videos. Um, and the red subscribe button should be somewhere here or here or here. Somewhere here, you'll see it down below. I'm on the road to 10,000 subs. So really proud of that achievement when I'll get to it. Definitely thankful to each and every one of you tuned in, locked in here or on Twitter. Respects to each and every one of you. See you later. Have a good rest of your evening. Bye, everyone. Adios.